Alright there folks, welcome to another Fishing Adventures, and I've got a new toy to play with today. It's my brand new pole, and it is this one. It is the Matrix MTX3 Ultra 16 metre pole package, and I've had my eye on one of these for about 6 months now, and they've been impossible to get hold of. And then a good friend of mine tipped me off that there was a couple in a shop somewhere, so I was straight on the phone, got one ordered, bosh, it was here 2 days later. And this is the first opportunity that I've had to get it out of the bag, and to be fair, it is absolutely faultless. I just cannot tell you how good this pole is, especially compared to my old pole. If you've seen the previous videos where it was literally falling apart, I've had top kits crack on me. The end of the number 3 section was that one, it had a big hole in it and carbon was just splintering everywhere. It was a nightmare. So I've brought it up to Redwood Park, and we've been giving it a bit of a play. This is what happened. Right then, so first things first. What I'm going to do is I'm just gonna be fishing a expander, a soft pellet, just on the near side. Okay, and with that I'm just going to sprinkle in over the top 3 or 4 micros and just see what happens. There's 2 guys fishing to my right, and I'm 4 pegs away from them. So basically, it's going to give me an opportunity just to see if we can't draw a few fish in. I mean, literally putting in maybe a dozen micros, and I'm going to fish an expander on the hook, as I've said. And we're just going to fish just at the bottom of the near shelf, so we're not far out at all, but it is quite deep. There's been a few fish showing when I was getting ready, and I hit one with the plummet as well, so I know there's a few fish down there. Hopefully I've not spooked them by wazzing that plummet in over their heads, but we'll see. Quite excited to get in there actually and give it a go and just see what happens. Nothing massively complicated today. Just going to be fishing expander over the micros, as I've said, on the short line. The far bank, there's not really a slope as such on this peg. I'm on peg 8, it's a little bit weird. I'm about probably a metre away from far bank, and it's roughly the same depth, maybe a little bit shallower, but I'm going to just tap in some hard pellets over there with a banded pellet on the hook. And then later on, if it does get warm, I've got a nice margin swim there that's about 2 foot, so I'm going to give that a crack, but we'll see. So let's go. Just fishing roughly a float body over depth as usual, just to try and get that bait anchored on the deck. There is quite a strong wind as well, so it will start towing at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So it's 10 o'clock now, and this is my first put-in, and if it was a match it would be starting roughly now anyway, so it's a perfect time to see. So as I've said before, it's always worth practicing during match times. There's no point coming last thing at night when your match would have normally finished, and thinking you're going to empty it in margins, because you just won't. So we'll just see, and it's good that the 2 guys next to me are catching as well, although they're fishing middle at canal, so might be worth. We'll see what happens at a later date. Yeah. So with that wind, it's just pushing the bait out of where that little pile is, so lay that rig in again, line it up with that marker, just let it go and settle, and then don't let that rig just sit nicely. Nope. There we go, straight away. So that bite came after 3 minutes. See what we've got. Whoa. Oh, he snagged me. Oh no, he's out now. Little bugger. Come on. There we go. Nice little F1. Hook's come out. So there we go. Pole christened. Not the biggest fish I'm going to get out on it, hopefully. But there we go. Lovely. few micros, as I say, not many at all. We're probably putting in maybe a dozen, and that is it. We don't want to put in a ton of bait and potentially wreck the swim. So I'll go back in, do exactly the same. Just going to lay this rigging upwind so it comes down, tapping that bait. It might make a little bit of noise as well, just seeing, so it may attract a few fish in, we'll see. But just keeping a tight line onto that float, and it settles perfectly. There we go. And we're just holding it, keeping it over that little pile of bait. Because in theory what we could do is do exactly the same on the long line that we're doing on this short line, and that is just start off with an expander over micros and just see. But I just want to see how quickly these bites are going to come. Oh, it's had a nice little lift there. I just want to see how quickly these bites are coming on the expander before we swap onto hard pellets. If the bites are going to come faster on another bait, then you're better off fishing with that one. I do need another shot on this float, I think. So yeah, float wise, this is just the Jazz Floats can do float with the 2mm tip. Glass stem, mega stable, great little shotting pattern. I've just got a strung bulk of 1, 2, 3, 4 number 8s and 2 number 11s. But obviously one of them's come off, wouldn't it, just to knock me off. So there we go. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Little skin bobs. Little skin bobs. Right then. So, what I'm going to do now is, because that skimmer's moved in, I'm going to bin this line off and I'm going to go with hard pellet long. And just see. Similar sort of idea on this one, but all I'm going to do is, rather than feeding micros, I'm just going to tap in a couple of 6mm, maybe 3 or 4 4mm. I'm going to have a 4mm pellet on the hook. And again, these are just dynamite baits, so doing the business by the look of it again. So literally just 2 6mm. And 4 or 5 4mm, and that's all I'm going to feed. I'm going to tap it in and make some noise, and hopefully there'll be slightly better stamp of fish over on that far bank. There we go, and just tap that bait in. Bring that rig over it. There we go. Exactly the same float. It's the 0.4 gram by Jazz Floats, the can do float. And that's just with that really nice green tip on, so that's really visible. I was a bit dubious about green to start with when I ordered them, but they look pretty good. Nice and visible. What you want. And this pole is as light as a feather. It really is. Laser straight as well. So yeah, we're just 20 minutes in. We've had the 2 F1s and that skimmer. The arrival of that skimmer prompted me to go on the long line with the hard pellet. But first 20 minutes of a match, get those 3 out, providing no one else is bagging anywhere else or getting into a run of carp straight away, then it's a good weight builder, especially this time of year. just stay on it. But I just want to try a few different things today. Oh, there we go. Oh. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Honestly. Skimmer prompted me to come off. The one on Firebank's even smaller. I don't believe it. Mega. Right then. So I'm going to go back in again because I can't believe that just happened. So I'm going to put in 2 6mm. Dear me, and we'll put in 5 4mm, and I'm going to go back in over there and see. So this wind is picking up a little bit as well, so we'll see. But this pole is just so easy to hold at this length. Fishing all the way up to the number 7 section, right to the end of that. And as I say, that's got me about a metre and a half away from that far bank. And I've just popped in one of the mini half extensions in there, just in case I need to push up a tiny little bit further across. Because as I say, it doesn't really shelf up too much across until you get right close to far bank. So we'll see. So we've tapped those pellets in, brought that rig in all the way across it. I'm just going to leave it there and see. And that float is literally just anchored on the bottom now. I'm a float body over depth, but with the hard pellet being a bit denser, it does hold the bottom a bit better. Just presents the bait so much nicer than an expander. I did it. Skin bobs. So this is just on, this first line is just on the top kit plus 2 sections, and it's about 3.5 4 foot. Perfect for 0.4 gram, quite positive fishing. Sad indication there. Going. Yeah, there we go. And it's the skin bobs. There we go. Not the species I'm hoping for, but it's a start. And on the micros, I've just got the Dynamite Baits chocolate orange sauce. I've not soaked these micros, and all I've done is give them a glug of that sauce and just let them soak it in a little bit, so they're a bit denser than just your normal standard 2mm, because that it just smells absolutely bloody brilliant. So hopefully that'll draw a few fish in as well. And if you haven't checked out that Dynamite Baits video, go and do it. The Wafter challenge was, the Wowzer challenge was mint just on the arc. So yeah, go check that out. They're little tiny little finicky bites. So what I'm going to do is, just out of interest, I'm going to swap onto the hard pellet rig and just see if that makes a difference. As I say, there's about an inch difference in depth, so that's fine. So I'm going to just pop on a 4mm hard pellet, and I'm just going to feed some hard pellets over the top. And as I say, this is just on the short line. We've got the long line yet that I was going to fish just hard pellet, but I'm just curious to see if that's going to make a difference on this line, basically. So 4 4mm, a couple of 6mm, then we'll see if that makes a difference or not really. So we're just going to see what sort of response we get now with that hard pellet. and that extra bit of noise of those pellets dropping in. And again, this is the advantage of starting short, because you can feel your way into what they're going to want, because it might be that they just want a soft pellet and a few micros, although we had a nice indication on float there, so there's definitely a few fish milling. But it might just be that noise, depending on what fish this is now that comes out. That noise could just be attracting a few F1s in. And if you can catch them at this range all day on hard pellet, then that's great, because if they are responding to the noise of those pellets getting tapped in, you can loose feed this by hand, no worries at all. So again, it's always worth just keeping your options open, not putting all your eggs in one basket and assuming that they're going to want a certain thing on a certain day, when it could be wrong. So I'm not sure what that was, but we missed it anyway. It was a bite as it was setting, so I'm assuming that was an F1 having a pluck. Right then, so that's the skimmers in. What I'm going to do is, same again, straight back in, 2 6mm, and 3 or 4, maybe half a dozen 4mm. I'm going to put them in from a bit higher up and just see if that extra noise makes a difference. Lay that rig in. That bait in, that's made a lovely little noise, that, so hopefully that will just attract those F1s in. We'll see. And because we're still short, we've not wrecked any other line that we might possibly want to set up either, so indication straight away there, so oh, that was better. Oh. Skin bob. Did it again. So, right then. We don't want them really, do we? You never know. Oh, there we go, straight away. And that does feel like a slightly better fish, but it's a skimmer. So I think what I'm going to do this time is, rather than have a 4mm in the band, I'm going to put a 6mm in and just see if that makes a difference, because we know there's some skimmers there, but I just feel there's other fish there. There's a few indications on the float, but not much is happening. There's definitely fish there. They just might want a 6mm. Right, let's change that offer. I'm not convinced that 4mm is right for him today, so we'll try the 6mm and see if that makes a difference. So again, it's going to feed again. Half a dozen 4mm, a couple of 6s, tap them in, a 6mm on the hook, and just there we go. Well, we'll see what this is. Got a feeling it's another skimmer. Yeah, it is. Oh. Slightly bigger than the others, so go back in again, exactly the same. Feels better. Oh yeah, Maggie puller. Oh, lovely effort. Looks come out, but yeah, absolutely beautiful golden colour then. Lovely fish. See if we can't make something happen now. Start loose feeding a bit of bait, making that bit of noise. Not many. Just about half a dozen 4mm. Skimmer, I think. Yep. Right then, so margins. It's March. It's the 23rd of March. It's freezing cold, but there's a deepish margin just to my left, where the next peg is, and it's just over 2 foot on a bit of a slope, a steep slope. So what I've done is I've kind of plumbed up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop in 100ml of micros, and just fish a corn halfway up that slope. I'm going to cup it in where I've plumbed up to, which is about halfway up, but some of it's going to stick, some of it's going to fall down. So I think if I fish my rig halfway up that slope but laying into the slope, we might get a bite. You never know. I think it might be a little bit too early just yet to get them in there, and as I say, it is bitterly cold. It was warmer yesterday. Last night it was quite mild through the night, so you never know, it might just encourage a couple to come in short and shallow, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a go anyway. Right then, so we're just having a drop into this margin. I fed 100ml of micros a few minutes ago. Just going to drop in a single grain of corn on the hook and just see if there's anything there. As I say, it might be a little bit too cold just yet for them to come into 2 foot, but we have got an option to go a little bit deeper if need be. But we'll see. There's quite a bit of rushes and stuff down there, so there's plenty of cover for them if they were in there. So we'll see. There we go. Oh, lovely fish that. Lovely fish. There we go. Whoa, steady on. Very lively still. There we go. Whoa! I can't hold him up for you. He's far too lively, but that was well worth it. So we'll go back in. Single corn again. To answer that question, yes, they will come into the margins. There we go. There we go. That's definitely a better fish as well. Much better fish this, much better fish. Oh, lovely. Lovely big fat F1. Lovely jubblies, that's what we want. That is what we want. Oh, dear me. Yeah, nice fish. 2.5. Lovely. lovely condition. So yeah, so there we go, and this is the rig. As I said, it's just the Jazz Floats Diamond, that's 0.3. Nice glass stem, very, very sturdy, very, very strong. That's on 018 mainline, and that's coming down just to a strong, well, not strong, just a bulk of shot there, just to anchor that bait down, and that's going on to a nice little 6-inch hook length, which is onto a size 16 hook. So there we go, single corn. So I'm going to go back in again and see, because we don't know if the bait that's been put in there has been eaten. I'm assuming it hasn't as yet, due to the fact that we got that F1 out. So we'll go straight back in and see if we can't tease another one out. So we're just going to lay that rig in up to the slope again, let it settle, and it just goes to show that even on the coldest days where we think the fish won't be, they're happy feeding. You know what I mean? Because it's in literally 2 foot of water down there. Just a little sharp dink again. So yeah, so they're obviously in happy, confident feeding in 2 foot of water. So I'm assuming if we did try this rig in another part of the swim, there'd be fish there as well, because they do tend to sit at certain levels on Snake Lakes. Because we were getting a bit bitted out on the short line with skimmers. I had another look on the long line, and again it was skimmers. So I figured it was time to try the edge, just to do something different, just to break the monotony in the pattern really, just to see. I'm still pinging the odd little fuel pellets out on that short line, just to see if we can't tempt a few. But that sun's trying to get out now as well, so it might just tempt them up in water a little bit shallower, and if that is the case, then I'll stick a different rig on and see if we can't get a few shallow. Right then, so I'll go back on the short line. I've just been loose feeding some 4 mils over the top. I'm not going to feed now, I'm going to go in straight with my up bait, see if there's anything there. Just gone back over. I'm just going to try and far bank. I've given it a go a few times with expander and hard pellet and stuff, but nothing really seems to be getting them going or working. So I've just gone across now with a bit of corn on hook, and I've just fed probably about 20-25 micros and 4 mil pellets, just to see if we can spark some form of response really. So we'll just have to see. I had a bite then, but daydreaming. So oh, there we go. Oh, is that a snag? Ah, it's a bloody snag, isn't it? Is it? I don't fancy getting twatted in the head by this. So, in this situation, keep your pole tip under the water. Pull. Oh no, we have got a fish on. What is going on? We have got a fish on. What happened there, man? Oh well, don't get it. I don't get it. I thought we were bloody. There we go. Nice chunky F1. Beautiful fish. Beautiful. So I just want to see if there's anything there. Fishing long is out of the question now because there just seems to be a big snag there for some bizarre reason that wasn't there earlier. So I'm a bit reluctant to go over there and lose any more gear, so we'll just keep plugging away here and just see if we can't, although I need to move that float up a little bit, see if we can't sneak out another couple of fish. Oh, there we go. I mean, this is going to take some refining, I think, but there we go. Beautiful F1. So, no doubt about it, that works. Awesome. Another mega chunky fish, that. Beauty. Yeah, so things I've realised already about this is I need some stiffer line and the pole winders. Don't use pole winders. Oh, there we go. So, oh, look at that, mega. Mega. Cracking fish again. So there we go, folks. That was the Redwood Park Canal pellet video, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it just goes to show that despite it still being cold, the fish will feed pellets. They're just coming out of that dormant stage now, and they're going to want to feed, but not too much. I wasn't feeding a huge amount until the last little bit there, when they were swirling shallow. So it just goes to show, if you get the feeding right and you ease your way into it, they will eventually come, and you can get them shallow. I finished off there with 2 on the jigger just to give that a bit of a go. I honestly didn't expect I'd be using that today, but there we go, it just goes to show. And we had a couple out of the margin as well at the left hand side, and that was just mint. Feed wise, we started off earlier on with the expanders over the glugged micros. Now the micros were glugged in the chocolate orange goo from Dynamite Baits, so definitely get on that. It is phenomenal drawing those fish in. We got bitted out a little bit with the skimmers. When we went long, the same story happened, but they were a smaller stamp. So I binned off that line, and the pole was absolutely flawless in operating at that range. It was just phenomenal, but a little bit too windy to present the bait properly anyway. So it was probably a good thing that there were smaller skimmers over there, so because we can bin it off and just concentrate on that 2+2 line straight in front. And we've had a good run of fish. It's been steady all day really, with skimmers and F1s and just trying different things, different feeding patterns. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to kind of gauge it on the day, because we can come tomorrow and it could be a completely different kettle of fish. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and there'll be plenty more to come. Cheers.